Hi, everybody. Welcome to Happy Hour Live here on Brew Sports. We welcome you inside the studio on a Tuesday edition of the show. It's a little chilly outside, but let's be honest, when you have Florida in your very near future like Teaka does, life is pretty good in all honesty. But we will do our very best, of course, to make you as warm as we can about the sports world. We know that there's so many different things going on, but we will do our very best to keep you guys entertained, give you the hot takes, and keep it hot and heavy here, I guess, on Happy Hour. But Teaka, good afternoon to you. How are we doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. It's been a little bit of a hectic day here at Brew Sports, but we've made it work. We've had some great shows today, great guests as well too. We're going to have a great guest as well on our show. We'll be joined in our second segment by Alfredo Muente, one of our baseball correspondents. Talk a little bit about the World Baseball Classic. He got a chance to go down to Florida to check out some of the big action, which is pretty awesome to hear his firsthand experience, along with, of course, Tim Tebow, which everybody loves to talk about. Even us here, we're guilty of that. As much as we say enough with Tim Tebow, we still keep talking about it. So we'll get to him, though, in our second segment. But we, of course, want to welcome all of you to the broadcast today. You're definitely encouraged to comment about anything we talk about today. Make sure to share today's show as well with your friends and family. And anybody, really, even just, random, gal on the street, be like, hey, you should check out Brew Sports. Hey, dude, you should check out, do it. Everybody loves it. I mean, what can you not love? I mean, you get to see two awesome people, mostly Teaka. You get to see awesome people talk about sports and just have a good time while we do it, really, which is really what it's all about, I guess, right?
It's a fun time.
Exactly. All right, Teaka, some good stuff right off the bat here for our What's on Tap segment. What do you have for us today for What's on Tap?
Well, the WIAA is just trying to follow protocol, but they're crushing a little boy's dreams.
That's so mean.
Yeah. So apparently, at the Rush Center, Appleton North wins the state title, and an athlete on the team always hugs her little brother after every single game.
Oh, wow.
And so, she was looking for him, and he was looking for her, and they were going to have their hug after. I mean, it was so exciting because they were making school history.
Just won the state title.
Yeah, so they went for a hug, and one of the ladies came and was like, no, stay off. She was just trying to do her job, but it was a sad moment.
It's so this little kid was just coming on her sibling, obviously was coming on the court just to give her a hug, basically.
Yeah, because after every single game, they hug.
Interesting. And was the ceremony over? Or did the game just get done? I guess was my question.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I can understand it from the perspective of the game just got done.
It seemed like they were
cheering.
starting to leave the court and everything. So I'm sure it wasn't immediately after they had just won. So it seemed like they were kind of off, going towards leaving the court, and he was running towards her.
Interesting, yeah.
And she blocked him off.
She's like, get out of here, kid.
And the athlete was pretty mad, and she was like, I was just trying to hug,
and then just trying to hug my baby brother here.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me, because at what point, I guess, is there too much invasion, I guess. You want to make sure that, of course, everybody is included, especially in a celebratory time like that, of course, but blocking a sibling from coming on is a little much.
A little boy.
He doesn't know any better.
Right, and I understand, you need to follow the rules and regulations. You need to keep it fair for every single game. But, on the other end, people, this was a state championship. People are traveling all over to watch their, brother, sister, daughter, niece, whatever. They're coming and traveling to watch them, and they don't even get to, celebrate after, congratulate them.
A little surprising, honestly. And you've mentioned to me off the air that there's been national backlash about this. Even people from our very own Green Bay Packer team here in the state of Wisconsin have been commenting about this curious thing basically taking place right here in our own backyard, basically. Do you think that there was just a miscommunication with what exactly was trying to get done?
I would like to think so, but I don't think I think she knew I think because then the athlete had told the lady that was blocking the little boy, I was just trying to give him a hug, and she had still said, no, you can't. At least from what I saw in the video, it seemed like she was just saying, no, you can't. You'd think if you saw a little 3-year-old little boy coming to give a hug, you just pretend you didn't see it. And, just let him do it. Oh shoot, rules are you're not supposed to be. Can you step off?
And this isn't
That's what I would have done.
This isn't some crazy high school kid running on the court, be like, wait, what?
Right, or
a
whole
3-year-old
student
kid.
section storming the court. That's not. I'm sure that's why they have the rules, but exactly, it's not like a whole student section storming the court or something crazy like that. I understand that, not letting that happen, but
right. I find it a little interesting, honestly, that, I mean, I get it. Do your job, of course. That's what you're paid to do. You want to keep people safe, but it's something so harmless as a 3-year-old child that is just walking on the court to just give a hug. I feel like that sends a bad message about the WIA overall being like, well, we don't really support kids to an extent, or we don't want to, we don't support families.
Or we can't let them celebrate, Like, I understand you can meet up
celebration.
later, but
I get that too, but literally, like, nothing malicious. A little kid walking on the court just wants to give
a hug, because
big
they do
sister
it after every single game.
It is tradition. I mean, like I said, it's not like they had like this weird handshake or this weird, like, crazy whatever that might be in a nuisance. Like, just want to give you a hug.
Didn't look sketchy. Like, it was a little 3-year-old boy. What is he going to do? He's not going to do anything else but just like give his sister a hug.
I find that a bit ridiculous, honestly, and I think the WIA is going to have a lot of questions to answer now moving forward with that, unfortunately. So to be fair, they kind of did this to themselves, really. If they're like, well, we don't want any negative press about this. Well, sorry guys, you basically have now changed the perception of who you are.
Yeah.
Overall as a statewide athletic organization.
Certainly.
So not exactly the greatest thing that you want to do, of course. I mean, the high school sports are wrapping up to an extent. It's March. You still have the spring sports, but finish the year strong. Don't have something like this at a state championship game where there's so much media and so much focus on what's taking place. It's no wonder something like this got blown up. Had this happened at, Joe Blow Gym in Maguanago, Wisconsin, people maybe wouldn't care as much. Be like, okay, a principal denied a family member from coming on the court. Maybe some people would talk about it locally, but the fact that we're talking about this on a national scale seems to be a little crazy to me that it's escalated to this far.
Yeah, I agree.
It's got to be careful. Got to be careful indeed. Teaka, did you ever play basketball at all growing up, or high school or college?
Nope, only I would say gym class when we had to do the basketball unit and we're forced to. That's
had
probably,
to. I love how you phrase that.
Or sometimes I would play horse or pig in the summer, I guess, with friends.
Sure.
That's fun. But yeah, the only other times I could think of are gym class. And I don't know about you, but my free throws were always the granny
You were the granny shot kind of gal. I was able to, I have big hands, so I was able to grip the ball. I maybe not have had the greatest shot, but I had a big enough hand that I could, do the little whatever, I don't know, the spin, I guess, the spin on it, so I didn't have to granny shot it too much. I usually only threw the granny shot for like games of horse or pig, be like, if I granny shot it from the garage, like I'm going to win, and like, whoa, but very rarely did I actually pull out the granny shot, though.
Right.
And it's not really used that much in professional sports,
no, you really don't
or
see
even
it
in
nowadays,
college either. But supposedly, or not even supposedly, there have been professionals throughout the years that have done said granny shots, and they've been fairly successful with it as well too.
Almost making every shot. So
and
Hall of Famer.
You pointed out to me apparently that there was a gentleman that decided to go and to help out ESPN with this, basically this sports science sort of a thing, basically. What info do you have for us about this?
Hall of Famer Rick Barry was very consistent with his, he used the granny shot technique for his free throws, and he was very, very consistent. So they kind of, wanted to look at that and see exactly what his tricks were.
Yeah, and I think
to be so consistent.
The granny shot is something that I think so many people joke about, but there really is a science about it. I mean, it's all about as with any shot, it's the trajectory, of course, of how you throw the ball. It's all about you can't just throw your hands way up in the air. Like, it's all about like the certain scoopage, basically, as you get up to that point to release it. But it's a very interesting video. ESPN has it up on their website under their sports science. You can go check that out and see what exactly we're talking about, because like I said, the granny shot is something that has evolved throughout the years.
Definitely.
Even though it's funny, as fast paced as the sports world is, as fast paced as basketball even is nowadays, the granny shot is timeless, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
You see guys even at the NBA All-Star game sometimes throwing out the granny shot as well too, just being like, hey, look what we can do, like granny shot, woo, like it's all in good fun. It really is.
I love this because people always used to make fun of me for doing it all the time, and looky here.
You're like, look guys, Teaka was right all those years ago, back when I was schooling kids on the playground. Yes, I agree with you. David on Facebook says, don't even get me started with the WIAA, hashtag containing rant. Okay, David, we might have to speak with you afterwards if you've got this rant. I mean, we welcome folks to rant and to give us their uncensored, biased opinions. That's what we love. I mean, we hope that people will continue to comment and share about everything that we've got going on. But a gentleman that is very near and dear to our hearts here on the Bruce Sports Network is one of our baseball analysts, Alfredo Muente, and he is going to be joining us here in just a moment to talk about Tim Tebow, to talk about the World Baseball Classic and all that fun business. So we're thrilled to have him joining us on the program right now. Alfredo, good afternoon to you, sir. Welcome to Bruce Sports. How are you doing today? Oh, doing pretty well,
Thank
actually. Just enjoying the cold weather here in the great state of Wisconsin.
Enjoying. I'm not sure.
We like you, Alfredo. Don't ruin your chances of staying on the network. I understand that, absolutely.
Well, everyone was super excited about Tim Tebow getting his first hit. The fans went, you could hear in the video, the fans went wild. Were you excited or not so excited? Mm-hmm.
And that's the argument we've made so many times on the program too, Alfredo, is that, I mean, like Tim Tebow, he's driving revenue, he's driving people to the games, which is, of course, great. That's what you really want, of course. You know, if you're the Mets organization, you're doing everything you can to stay relevant. You're doing everything that you can to get so many more people through the door. But you know, we like Tim Tebow for the most part. I mean, I think he's good for the sports world overall. I think he's good for what we're trying to communicate, I guess, as a sports society as well too. That, you know, not everybody that is around is really a bad person at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to ask, it was very exciting when the Cubs won. And I'm not a huge Cubs fan myself, but I have a lot of people around me were, and we celebrated in one of my classes, actually. My professor is a huge Cubs fan. So I'm curious to get your input. Do you think they could do it again?
Well, and see, to go off of that, Alfredo, too, my biggest pet peeve, at least in sports as a whole, is it's so hard to win back-to-back championships, especially in a sport like baseball where you're playing over 100 games. How many things have to go right for you as an organization to repeat, I guess? And maybe this is my naive baseball knowledge, too. Has it been done before? Has anybody ever won back-to-back World Series in relatively recent history? Talking with Alfredo Muente here on Happy Hour Live on Brew Sports. Alfredo, the World Baseball Classic, of course, is taking place right now. You yourself were just down in southern Florida. I mean, I know you're in Florida, but you got to take a little vacation down to see some pool, see action. What were some of your biggest takeaways from the action that you got to see live and in person? Well, you were talking about the fans as a whole, Alfredo, which I think the fans make every sporting event anywhere, obviously. But we've heard reports that the fans have actually been a little nasty towards some of the players, and there's been some of these security issues and security breaches almost where families are being heckled and almost attacked at times just for sitting in the stands minding their own business. What do you think about that when you hear, fans going out of their way basically to cause havoc when they really have no reason to do something like that? All right, Alfredo, good stuff. We appreciate you taking the time to join us today on Happy Hour. Where can people find your work and follow you on social media as well? Looking forward to it. Thanks a ton, Alfredo. We'll talk to you soon. Absolutely. There goes Alfredo Muente, one of our baseball correspondents here on the Brew Sports Network. Some great insight from him. And yeah, one of the big things, as we've mentioned before, that really just is an issue. You have to be so careful with the security issues. I mean, we've talked about that before, and guys, going out of their way to cause problems. I mean, as a fan, what good does it serve to cause problems like that? To go out of your way just to heckle somebody for no good reason?
You're just risking getting kicked out. I feel like there's no rhyme or reason.
I agree, and it's a little bothersome, honestly. I think some people, I feel like to go out of their way
to make people
feel bad. It's like, but what are you accomplishing by heckling the spouse or heckling the child of the player on the field.
Nothing. Or do you want like the spotlight on you? Like, what is it? Like I feel like there's no good reason to do something like that.
I agree. Kind of surprising, honestly.
Yeah.
One of the other big surprises for some folks is the recent announcement from DeMarcus Ware that he's retiring from the NFL after many a good year from dominating the league, whether it was with the Dallas Cowboys or most recently with the Denver Broncos as well too. Won a Super Bowl with the Broncos just a couple of years ago, but now he's hanging it up, Teaka. But his reasons are not because he's too old. I mean, he's 34. If he really wanted to, he could probably play at a fairly high level for maybe another 3 to 4 years and still get paid fairly good money. But he's retiring for a reason that we're seeing a lot more, which I think maybe is a little surprising. It's his health. He's trying to preserve his health, basically.
Yeah, he wants better, long-term health and just his overall quality of life. And I think he feels that has outweighed, his spark and passion that he once had.
And I find that a little interesting, too, because obviously you know your body better than anybody else, of course. We totally understand that. But to an extent, though, you have to wonder why this is becoming such a more consistent trend, because you and I have talked about this on the show before too, about people, retiring early or just people trying to do things longer because they want to get the money or whatever. But do you think this is going to be a continuous trend now in the sports world where players are going to retire a couple years before they really should, or before they, most fans want them to, of course, to preserve their bodies? Because how many times do we hear about, brain diseases or these other bodily issues that these guys just can't get under control because they maybe took too many hits or, played too many more years than they really should have? Yeah,
I mean, I think it could definitely become a trend, but I also think it's just going to depend on, player to player and on, the individual and how they feel. And like you're saying, everyone's body's different. Everyone takes things differently. Everyone takes a hit differently.
That's true.
So I think it definitely could catch on and it could become a new trend that we see, but I also think it's going to ultimately come down to the individual and how strong or what their morals and values and what the individual believes.
I agree. I completely agree. And you have to do what's best for your body at the time. And that was the big reason why I retired from when I was playing college soccer, is I broke my foot my freshman year and had the opportunity to come back and played and tried for a little bit, but I just ultimately realized that putting my foot and my grind through my body through that grind just wasn't worth it, as opposed to being able to not walk without any issues really for the rest of my life, or being able to still dance with my wife, or just different things like that. It was a more broad picture. I mean, granted, yes, I was playing Division III soccer. I wasn't playing professional or playing for my country at that point, which I know would have been a little bit harder choice at the time. But people, I feel like, get either so wrapped up in what they love, or they're just like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I think the big question is it worth it? And I think that's what all athletes should ask. And like you said, you made a good point. Are you going to be able to do these things as you grow older, and keep dancing with your wife and doing these things that are important, like I feel like that's, something fun you guys get to do, and it strengthens your relationship, I'm sure. And you guys love doing it. And if it was just college soccer, are those 4 years more important than the rest of your life?
Right.
And being able to do certain things. And
I agree, and I don't feel like there's a lot of backlash that people can really dish out. And I got a little bit when I decided, I'm like, hey guys, I'm not going to return. I did football for a year as well too, just more so to get the rehab and take the little bit easier way back into getting back into shape. But I got a little bit of backlash, and people are like, well, why'd you quit? Like, we could use you. You could be a starter in a year or two after you work hard. And I'm like, guys, it's just. For me, it just
hard decision.
Like,
understand that. I still had to take time to think about
exactly.
it.
I played soccer for 18 years. Like, it wasn't something that I just was like, you know what, like, whatever kind of thing. It wasn't like a decision I made overnight. Like, okay, like, never mind. The heck with soccer. Like, after the surgery, I was like, I have no idea. And I've played, back and forth, for fun and recreation and all that stuff. But I never can see myself mentally ever getting back to that point where literally my entire life is just soccer. Like, that's the first thing I thought about, when I woke up, the last thing I thought about when I went to bed at night. Like, that was my life for years. And now it's just kind of like, I'll go kick a ball around every once in a while, which is so funny, because if I told that to 16-year-old Baxter, he'd be like,
no
stop.
Way.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, soccer is life, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't know, does that relate to you from a dancing perspective as well, too? I guess I don't know how deep you got into that world.
It's completely you know, I agree with all the things you're saying, and I think about it in, you know, my perspective in dancing. I the same way. I danced for, you know, my whole life. I mean, you're not supposed to be enrolled in dance until you're like 3, but my mom snuck me in when I was 2 because I was like close enough. But
come on,
really,
Mom. Come on.
as long as I possibly could, I had been dancing. So it is hard when it's a really big decision to make when you have to decide, okay, I've been doing this for my whole life up until now, and all of a sudden I just have to stop. You know, like it's
what was the moment for you? Do you know when you kind of had to walk away from it from a higher level?
High school, I danced at a studio in Green Bay, as we talked about before,
Sure.
and then I also was on my high school dance team, which I absolutely loved. I loved both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think just the transition from, okay, now I'm going to college and I would have to try out for a college dance team and whatnot. I just ultimately decided I ended up going to Minnesota,
Right.
St. Thomas in Minnesota for my first year of college. And it was just a big change. I was going farther away, and I thought, okay, I'll take a year off and see how it is. I can always, you know, try out for the dance team the next
Sure,
year
makes
or
sense.
whatnot. And then I ended up moving back here to dance. I had the opportunity to dance for the Milwaukee Bucks, and so it kind of
Right.
came back in. And then I had thought, okay, cool, I'll be going to practice and you know, performing on a court, and it's going to be awesome, and that's all it's going to be.
Yeah.
It was so much more than that, which was amazing. You know, we had appearances, and we learned, you know, so much more about ourselves, I feel like, because it was just, it was so much more than dancing. But I ultimately decided it was a lot with school, and I wanted to focus and continue focusing more on my education. And so that was a decision. And I think since then, like now, I don't think about it as much, and it's easier now.
Yeah.
I did room with one of my very good friends that was still on the team last year. And so some people are like, well, is it more difficult? Does it make it harder because you see like you're kind of still in the loop of everything because
Right.
she still dances. But I also got to see, you know, the things I didn't miss, like waking up early and having to
Yeah.
practice before practice and all these things. So I was like, I'm good. I'm content.
Like, I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, how many times do you hear when people like work the same job for 20 or 30 years and then they move to a different job, and it's like you never thought that you ever once would, you know, leave that job
Right.
or whatnot. I mean,
Life changes.
You hear about, even professors or, you know, people like, oh, I taught the same class for 30 years, and then the day they retire, and then they're like, well, what do I do with my life now? Like, all I've thought about is biology for the last 30 years
Right.
or whatever, you know, grading papers. I live for midterms, you know, like, okay, whatever makes you happy, I guess, professor. But it is, you make that transition. So, you know, it really does. It all goes all the way back to your personal preference. If you know, did what you did, you know, you made your money, if you're trying to go for that, if you got to your satisfaction of, all right, I was able to live out my dream, whatever job, my dream travel, whatever it was, you know, for DeMarcus Ware is to play professional football at a high level and then ultimately end up winning a Super Bowl, which ultimately is what anybody that plays in the NFL wants to do. He got that taken care of. And then he was like, you know what? I've made my money. I think I can take care of my family. I've gotten to do everything that I wanted to do with my life. Might as well spend more time with my family.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, when you retire at 34 years old, most normal people don't retire for another 25, 30 years.
Right.
Like 65 is, you know, that 66, whatever
Yeah.
is the official number, I guess, is that official retirement age. Like being able
Yeah.
to say, I'm good. I'm done at 34.
Yeah, so
like,
it's so funny
I
to
can't
see
even
that
imagine
age.
that.
Yeah.
And then it's so funny, too, because then you think about it, it's like, you're 34 and you're in the NFL. Wow, you're old.
Yeah,
Like,
it goes both ways.
DeMarcus Ware is 9 years older than me. Like, to put that into perspective, like, I'm only 25 years old. Only for some of you, I guess. They're like, wow, you're a baby. Other people, you're so old. Like, whatever. Thank you, everybody, for making me feel good and bad at the same time. Sorry, I had a little moment there for a moment. But even still, like, he's only 9 years older than me. Like, that, in my mind, is kind of crazy. It's like, wow, he retired at 34 years old. Like, that's kind of crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's made his millions of dollars, and now he's done. But I totally respect that.
Yeah.
I do. He wants to spend more time with his family. He wants to take care of his body because nobody knows how long they've got on this earth. So you might as
Right.
well enjoy and move on to the next thing. If he wants to travel and see the world, do it.
Yeah.
Fully support that. I have no problem with that, and I think he is honestly doing the right thing. I
Yeah.
really do.
I agree.
One person that has been a little bit on the forefront of some chaos here has been LaVar Ball. I don't know if you've heard about any of his recent comments or not, Teaka, but LaVar Ball is trying to negotiate for his sons to get a shoe deal, which we see
Yeah.
Michael Jordan and LeBron James and people that actually deserve and have earned it get shoe deals. You know, LeBron James signed a lifetime contract with Nike back in 2015 for around $1 billion at that point. But LaVar Ball is trying to do this very odd thing with his sons right now.
Yeah, and I feel like we were talking about the other day too, like working for what you get and not just getting it, like taking it and getting it handed to you. You know, like there's something to say about, you know, working towards a goal and working for something, and you know, you feel good about it when you get it then and reach that goal. And I mean, maybe it's just the way it's written, but I feel like it's like, okay, daddy's doing everything for us. It kind of sounds like that.
It does.
To me. I mean, looking for a deal for his sons, which is, I mean, yeah, you look out for your children and that's great, but it's kind of what I thought.
Right, exactly. That's the big thing, honestly. Is just why? Why do you need to do something like this? You know, like, great, I get it. You're passionate about your kids. I love my 4-month-old son, but I'm not out campaigning for him to get shoe deals right now.
Right.
Like, hey, you know, Huggies and Gerber and all of them, like, get after him. I want $1 million for my 4-month-old son who... Yeah. I'm sure if he would hear me, he'd be like, what are you doing? Like, stop. Like, let me live my life. Like, you're not going to say no to money ultimately, but at the same time, like, at what point do you cross the line of being a supportive parent to being an obsessive, money-hungry, fame-demanding
and I feel like that's what he looks
parent?
like. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, LaVar Ball challenged Michael Jordan to a one-on-one, saying he would be able to just beat Michael Jordan, no problem.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, everyone knows who that is, you know, but
exactly.
It would be cool. I mean, if you think about it this way, like to have a deal like this with, you know, and doing it with your brothers, like, how cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But yes, I feel like it doesn't shed a very good light on them.
When daddy is the one pulling the strings, I think is where the issues start to seep in, I feel a bit more.
Yeah.
What do you... And I've asked this of all my co-hosts today, because we've talked about this on all the shows today. I asked Jamie and I asked Tanner about this. I said, if this was your father or your mother campaigning for you in this regards, and whatever it is, whether it's... So, I mean, if you were a professional dancer and your mom wanted to get you an exclusive shoe deal, you know, as a dancer, be like, hey... blah, blah, blah. Your mom is just blowing you up on all sorts of marketing, social media. Like, my daughter, God's gift to the world. Yeah. Literally the best dancer you're ever going to see. She's better than who is that one dancer? Yeah, no, awful, garbage. My daughter, 100 times better. Like, how do you react to that if you hear that as a kid to a parent just going off the end here? It's
very awkward. I mean, I think that even you just explaining that, it's like, oh, that's like weird.
I could see your face being like, oh.
Maybe, you know, there's so many times my mom has helped me out throughout my whole entire life.
Of course, that's what you're supposed to do.
Helped me with that, like, presenting opportunities to me and all this stuff, but I think ultimately I need to be the one that does it, you know, in that situation. I need to be the one that goes for it. And if she wants to support me, that's great. And, you know, be on social media and do all those things you were saying, that's great, but only if I initiate it. You know, if she's the one that is initiating it and, you know, the first one to talk about it and whatnot, I think that's where it would look bad.
I agree. And the fact is that, too, I mean, there's so many different things that I feel like are happening that these guys have no clue about, probably. They're like, wait, my dad is doing what? Like, I feel like if you hear it from the media before you even hear it from your own father sometimes, like, that, I think, is where the line needs to be drawn. Be like, there's a lack of communication here.
You want to talk to me about this first and ask if, like, this is something
if I'm turning ESPN on in the morning and I'm finding out my dad's trying to get me $1 billion shoe deal, and he hasn't even spoken to me about it, and I live in the same house as him, I'd be like... what are you doing?
Right. Well, and one of the sons is still in high school, right?
Two of them are.
Oh, are they?
2 of the 3 boys are still in high school. I think one's a sophomore, one's a senior.
One has 2 years of high school, which seems crazy. I mean, if he's that good, then awesome. But 2 years of high school left, and you're already trying to
negotiate.
Wait until you graduate and get there first.
Exactly.
I feel like that makes this whole thing even more ridiculous. And like looking at the dad's, what he's doing.
It's like, come on, Dad. Get it together.
He's only a sophomore.
Exactly.
They're both still only in high school.
100% agree with you. A couple of comments here on Facebook, backtracking just a little bit. David breaking some news for us here about the NFL free agency, says that Dayton Jones from the Green Bay Packers is officially signed with the Vikings. Kind of a big deal there, so congratulations to Dayton Jones. Sorry, Packer fans. Another one that got away, but blame Ted Thompson about that one. Ian says, going back to our retirement conversation, he said, retiring is ultimately your decision and something that you should not regret no matter the reason.
Yeah.
I completely understand that and respect that, of course, as well, too. Ian also goes on to say, gotta love the Ball family. LaVar said he could shut down MJ, as we said back in the day, with LaVar only averaged 2 points a game when he played in college. So here's ultimately the greatest player, I think, ever in all of sports, in Michael Jordan. And here comes this other gentleman saying, you know what? I could have beat you back in the day.
Yeah.
When you yourself can only get 2 points a game basically. And I'm pretty sure he only played a year or so basically at the highest level. So just stop. If I had
I think you're jumping the gun a little bit on this one,
I agree.
Dad.
If I had a sit down, shut up button, I would press that and be like, "You're done, LaVar. Sit down, shut up, go away." But if you think about it, he's done his job. We're talking about him. We're talking about his kids. How else do you build a brand if people don't talk about it?
That's so true.
You know,
it gets people talking. It gets I hadn't heard of his sophomore son. I mean, in high school still. I mean, now his name's out there. Everyone knows about him. You know, so that's a very good point. I feel like that's why people do this half the time.
Yes.
It's just because they know. If they say something crazy, people are going to talk about it, basically.
Isn't that just the world we live in, though? I mean, the greatest example of that is the Kardashians. It's like, look what I did. Look what other random thing that I did here.
That's so stupid, but everyone's talking about it, so...
Exactly, and they don't care. They're like, oh, what, I look dumb? Okay, cool.
Right.
But you're still going to talk about it.
Yep.
You're still going to hit up the latest Snapchat to see, like, what Kim posted
And I think
next.
that's what, everyone forgets, too. We talk about it and we're like, oh my gosh, did you see that? That's so ridiculous. Why would she do that? Whatever. But then we were like, okay, wait, we're talking about it. Like, we're doing exactly what they wanted.
Case in point, Tim Tebow. Everybody's like, would Tim Tebow just go away? Well, if you keep talking about it and you keep talking about it and you and you and you, no, he's not going to go away. Like, if you literally want someone to go away, freeze them out, stop talking about them. And I get that. Yes, I'm guilty of that as well, too. I keep saying, why do we keep talking about Tim Tebow?
Yeah.
Of course, or among other things, but once you stop talking about it, it goes away. That's how it was with Johnny Manziel for a long time when he was the hotbed of the NFL scandal world. I mean, people stopped talking about Johnny Manziel. Look, now we don't care anymore about Johnny Manziel. It's a miracle when people stop talking, right? Even in high school and even in college as well too. If somebody was being that guy or that girl, it's like, well, just don't talk to him.
Right.
If you keep talking about them and fueling that fire, it's like, just don't talk to them. And then what happens when everybody stops talking to that person? That person starts checking themselves basically and coming down off their high pedestal.
Like, oh crap, yeah.
It's like, I actually don't have any friends anymore because
maybe I shouldn't do that just to create drama.
Exactly. We love a little bit of drama here on Brew Sports, but not that kind.
No.
Ian does also reiterate your point as well too, saying LiAngelo and LaMelo are still in high school, senior and sophomore. So, and they're all committed already to UCLA, which is where the oldest brother, Lorenzo, is playing currently.
Yeah, which is great, but get there first.
Yeah, exactly. Get to college, do something relevant, and then talk about a shoe deal.
Yeah.
Get out of high school. You're not Kobe Bryant. You're not some of these other guys, LeBron James, that have come straight out of high school. It's just not going to happen.
Nope.
Not those kind of players. What are the other last things we need to talk about on the show today? Is something very near and dear to our hearts.
I think we need to talk about last night.
Yes. Talk to me about last night.
Well, I'm glad it's over. I mean, I'm going to miss looking forward to Monday nights, but there's so much oh my gosh, I don't know. Just get rid of Nick. Even people in class were talking about it today that I was at.
Really?
Okay.
I
can't believe, I'm just so glad it's over with. I don't want to see his face anymore.
So
I'm
done.
just okay, well, I liked watching it, but...
He's on Dancing with the Stars if you didn't know, so you still got to watch more of Nick.
He's not going away.
Yeah.
But I was very surprised at Raven's, reaction and response. Kind of, I think Nick is very lucky that I know in the past there have been, girls that they ultimately don't choose that just go crazy and start getting. I mean, obviously they're gonna be mad, but they, say mean things and whatever. And she just kind of sat there and was like, okay. And I was very surprised because she seemed so confident going into it. And she was like, which is, it just showed that she's genuine and she was just being very optimistic, but she also knew what could be the outcome. She could not get chosen. So I was very surprised. And I think that Nick is very lucky. Obviously he had a very hard time. He was crying.
He did,
so,
yeah.
Obviously you're breaking up with someone, but I just think it was very easy for him because she was it was hard for him to break up with her, but he got lucky because
it was easier because she decided to.
She just sat there and was like, okay, and just left.
She's like, all right, well.
Yeah.
Appreciate
you watched it? Did you watch it?
I did. Here, now people are starting to, David says, oh boy, here we go. Yes, we're talking about The Bachelor. Literally the last time we will talk about The Bachelor until the next season comes out. Lisa says, if we say something crazy about Teaka, will that make her famous? # careful what you wish for. You're more than welcome to. Go ahead, Lisa. Say whatever crazy things you want to say about Teaka. I feel like there's so much about Teaka that we have yet to learn on Bruce Sports. So by all means,
It's a mystery.
Hashtag bring it. Hashtag what's in Teaka's closet. That's about it. I don't know. She's probably like, well, I have rompers, I have dresses, all that fun
Jeans.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's what I have in my closet, too. I don't have any rompers, unfortunately. But ultimately, anyway, Nick chooses Vanessa.
Yeah.
Vanessa says yes, even though they had all of these big topics they still had to discuss, basically.
And
but
did you watch the talk after when he interviewed Vanessa?
I watched up until Raven, then my wife and I fell asleep and went to bed.
Yeah, I think that it just still seemed like weird. It seemed like she wasn't really answering questions, and she was kind of like saying she kept like talking about how they've had issues so far, and like it's been hard, which I get. I mean, they don't get to
Do we
see
know
each
the
other and
timeline
whatnot.
from like when the show was done recording to like when they were?
I think it's a couple months,
I
maybe
think so.
5, maybe 3. I don't know.
Something
Somewhere.
like that, yeah.
That's my guess. I'm not positive, but I don't know. It just seemed like it still seems like they have arguments and fight, but then they kept saying last night we have really good communication and whatnot, but I don't know. I think they're happy.
So they're
whatever.
engaged, but there's not like a date set yet for the wedding, though.
I think they're going to take it slow.
I think so.
It seems like
it's a smart
Their
idea.
relationship. Yeah. Well, because even Vanessa kept saying, I mean, we still have so much to learn about each other, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, literally, the entire process of the Bachelor or Bachelorette is like, what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, basically?
Yeah.
It's something fast.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like you're expected to fall in love and be like, oh my God, let's get
Right.
married. Like,
No. And she even said
easy.
they almost forgot to exchange numbers before they left after they got engaged. Because, I mean, they don't get them, and
That's true.
they're about to part ways, and you don't,
It's
I
like,
mean, you
do you-
usually have your significant other's number.
Usually.
It's such an awkward
I thought the bathroom
situation.
picture that they posted after they got engaged
Yeah.
was cute. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cute. I was a little confused why they're in a bathroom together, but
Yeah, that's true. Good
trying not to
question.
think about it too much. Like, that was my first thought. I was like, oh, cute picture. I'm like, why are they in
Wait,
a
how-
bathroom?
yeah.
It's like,
What
whatever.
the heck?
Trying to think about it too much, I guess. Did you see what they did for Rachel? Announcing
Oh, yeah.
the next Bachelorette is Rachel, and supposedly the first time, the historic thing that Chris Harrison kept saying all night.
Yeah.
A historic
I know, I was
night.
wondering. I was
I'm
like, what
we
is
get it,
it?
Chris. Something's gonna happen. Crazy. Woo wah. I honestly, because I didn't see it, and I went to
Mm-hmm.
bed with a prediction in my head of what I thought it was going to be, and obviously it turned out to not be what I thought it was.
What did you think it was going to be?
I honestly thought, and this is nothing against Rachel, I thought that maybe because they were saying it was the big historic thing, and I know that the whole LGBT thing has been a big thing. I'm like, I wondered if Rachel was gonna be like, actually, I'm bisexual, or I'm I'm lesbian, and I was waiting for them to be like, this is the first male and female Bachelorette, or
I
the very
didn't even
first
think of that.
For some reason, just because Chris Harrison kept being
Yeah.
like, it's huge, it's
Oh, that's a
huge,
good
I was
guess.
like. Well, I'm like, they've already
What's
got the I'm like,
different?
they've got the
Yeah.
African American side. I'm like, okay, I get that. That's a really cool thing. But I'm like, what else is there? And I'm like, maybe she realized, and maybe
that would
maybe
be crazy. I didn't even think of that.
that was where my mind went, and I'm like, maybe. But then they're like, no, just kidding. She just got to meet all of her
Yeah.
suitors.
Yeah,
there.
well, I think she only got to meet 4.
Was it just 4?
I think they had 4 people. Yeah, because it was towards the end.
Okay.
And I was like, is she going to meet all of them? But then I realized it was getting close to 10. And I was like, they probably won't
Probably
have
not.
all the guys there. But I think she had, there were 4 that came. And yeah, I don't know. I thought some
I didn't
were
see
awkward,
the end.
but
Like,
I
did
thought-
you like what did you think of him? Do we have
2,
anything?
I think 2 of them I thought were like, okay, cute, cool. But then there were 2 that I was like, yeah, that was just awkward. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to see who else
I agree.
she has.
I completely agree. Dave wants to know, now that The Bachelor is over, what is the next show that we're going to discuss?
Ooh.
That's a very good question. I mean, Paradise starts this summer, but no, we're not going to talk about Bachelor.
I
in
usually
Paradise.
don't. Yeah, I usually
I'm not a
don't watch
Bachelor in
that.
Paradise fan. I don't know. I mean, what other shows do you watch, I guess? Are you a Grey's Anatomy fan?
No, I mean, like, I feel like I would
think we've
be,
had this
but
conversation
I've never
before,
watched.
yeah.
There's so many shows like that where everyone's like, oh, you got to watch this, you got to watch this.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I feel like I would be interested in that. I feel like it'd be a good show that I would
Yeah.
enjoy, but I just never do.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not sure because I don't watch a ton of TV, honestly.
figure it
I
out,
watch a
yeah.
little Grey's Anatomy, but I think it's always fun to mix the whole sports and entertainment and
Yeah.
all that fun stuff. I mean, what other things are coming up that we need to talk about, I guess, in the entertainment world?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. The Oscars are over, Grammys, all that.
Everything
fun
happened all at
business.
once.
Yeah, exactly. I love how they
I
would just
feel
pack
like-
it all in, basically,
Yeah.
like the first 2.5
Dancing with the
months.
Stars, I guess. When is that on?
That starts Monday.
Oh, I'll probably watch that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
might. I'm not a big Dancing with the Stars fan. I think it's interesting. My grandparents are obsessed with it, so I'm sure.
you
I always
don't
hear the
really-
lowdown from
I don't
them.
usually watch it, that much. It's not like The Bachelor. Where
I
I'm
don't
like, I need to
mind it.
watch it. Right. If it's on, if I'm not
Which
doing
is
anything,
so
I'll watch
funny
it.
too when you think about it. You and I, who have dancing backgrounds, usually don't watch the dancing shows,
Right.
But we'll watch the drama shows, even though I'm married and you're in a very stable relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we doing this? Like, this makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
That's
the
good
drama. I think we love the
Mm-hmm.
drama. Hashtag yes drama. Anyway. Well, any other final things we want to talk about, Teaka, before we run today? I mean, we've pretty much covered a lot of the main headlines today. If you missed anything from earlier on today, Eddie Lacy signing with the Seattle Seahawks, Andre Iguodala being fined $10,000 for his racial comments. I was actually going to ask you about that, Teaka. I don't know if you heard about this or not, but Golden State Warriors player Andre Iguodala got fined $10,000 for using an inside joke about slavery that he has with his head coach and some of the players on the team. So a couple of days ago, some of the big players for the Warriors all sat in a very big game against the San Antonio Spurs. They're battling for first and second place right now in the Western Conference. Coach Kerr decided to, who's white, decided to sit his 4 big players who are all African American. And when asked about it later on, Iguodala said, no, I didn't really think anything of it. He's like, we do what master says.
Yeah.
And people took the we do what master says comment in the sense of he's making a slavery joke because the white man was always the slave owner, the master, as it were, basically, to the African-American players, basically. And he says it's an inside joke, and Coach Kerr also echoed that, saying, well, it's just a joke that we have on the team. We mess around and stuff, like no hard feelings, like ha, ha, ha kind of a thing. But you can't say that publicly. You can't say that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like when people say things, it's always what people make of it. What people are going to say, what people come up with. Oh, I think they mean this by saying that. Whatever. I feel like it's definitely the people that create the drama and whatnot. But they had, they did come out and say like, oh, it's an inside joke, whatever.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Little hot and heavy there, I guess. That's something that I think you can't do.
Yeah, I think that people in general need to watch what they say more often.
And I get it. They didn't come straight out and say, well, he as our master and slave owner is what he did. Like, I get it. But when you insinuate.
But if you think about it, and if you think that people are going to make something out of it and, if you say something, it's like, oh, this is going to come to mind, then just don't say it.
Right, exactly. It's better left unsaid, or in the sense, if it still is an inside joke, well, keep it on the inside, keep it behind closed doors. You say whatever the heck you want to your friends, your family, whatever. Like, I joke around with my friends and my family, whatever, but I'm not going to say some of the funny jokes or whatever. Like, sure, yes, I get it. Like, everybody makes mistakes, all that fun stuff. But like, if I have a funny joke or whatever that I'm going to share, I'm probably not going to share it publicly because it might be a little bit racy or whatever, and everybody has their vices. But at the same time, like, use your mind when you're speaking in a public setting like that to the national media that is obviously has such a big lens on a team like the Warriors. Yeah, one of the best franchises in NBA history, and now a little comment like this has sparked a hailstorm, basically, of people thinking that the Warriors are racist or that the players are being driven like slaves at practice, basically, by their master, Coach Kerr.
Should have been
a little bit much for me.
Left unsaid, I think.
I agree. What did Mama always say? If you had nothing good to say, don't say it at all. Something like that, I think, is what she would. What they would say back in the day, I guess. But so some fun things, some interesting things, absolutely, to say the least. Let us know your thoughts about anything that we talked about today. We'd love hearing from all of you. Special thanks to David, to Ian, to Dave, a couple other great folks as well that were commenting on the show today as well. Remember to hit that share button as well, so that way everybody else can check out what we're doing here at Brew Sports as well too. You can check out our website, brewsportsnet.com. We actually have a podcast as well, too. All of our shows are available on podcast on iTunes. Fun fact, the more you know. If you didn't know that, go and subscribe, download, listen to us on the go if you can't watch us. But, of course, we love when you watch us, of course. But anyway, that's besides the point. So go and check that out. We love when all of you continue to follow us and check out all the great things that we've got going on for Brew Sports as well, too. Big March Madness fans, we've mentioned it already all week. The deadline for joining our free March Madness challenge is coming to a close, so go and sign up today if you haven't yet. The link will actually be posted here in the description of this video as soon as we get off the air, so make sure to go check that out and sign up for free today. First place, $100. Second place, you get a date with Teaka. Third place, I'll make you dinner.
Changed.
Throwing out different things. I did that to Jamie this morning too, because she was like partially paying attention and she was like, wait, what? I was like, just kidding.
Gotcha.
You get a t-shirt. Second and third place, you get an awesome Brew Sports t-shirt. So make sure to go sign up today for free. Tell your friends as well too. Win a great prize. The madness of college basketball. It's everywhere. I love
Fun
it.
stuff.
Teaka, closing thoughts from you, because tomorrow's your last day. Technically, we've got you for a couple of days, which is kind of weird. Teaka's going to Florida.
See ya.
Fun fact. She's going to go hang out with Alfredo for a couple of days down there in Tampa.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's cold and snowy now, so I'm ready to get out of here.
What's your favorite thing to do on vacation?
Oh, that's a good question. It depends on where I go, I would say, but overall, just relax, because I feel like that's the point of vacation.
It
It's
is.
just to get away from everything you have to do on a daily basis
Makes
and
sense
work
to me.
and school. So just
relax.
number one, not to be thinking about stuff I have to do and just enjoy the time.
I love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, same for me. I'd love to just relax poolside, just catch up on some sleep and spend time with those people that I love.
Yeah.
That's what I do. It's what we do.
Exactly.
We're just all about love here, I guess, on the happy hour. So, well, she is Teaka Gruisbach. We'll be back here again tomorrow live at 4 p.m. Central, 5 Eastern, right here on Happy Hour. We'll be back again tomorrow as well, bright and early at 7 a.m. Central Time, live on The Morning Brew with myself and Jamie Ebbers. I'm Baxter Colburn. That's Teaka. We'll see you guys back here again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you soon.